Oh God, am I about to get that sloppy too?
I will show you God, but not in that way. Just start the video.
Okay. But hold on, I want to increase my abysmal watch time. So let's hope they like this new intro. I insert new video intro here. Prejudice. It's no good, guys. Seriously. But I cannot sit here and lie to the amazing people who clicked on my video by pretending as if I have never been prejudiced. However, my prejudice may be a nuanced one, which I have communicated openly. So, let's look at how prejudices form. But this time the video will be a little different. Is there someone you hate? Seriously, be honest with me. Is there someone you find absolutely vile and disgusting? Such a plague to society beyond your ability to ever consider mercy for. Even if you cannot think of any particular person in mind, there indeed are many people that feel that way.
A regular human can't kill no demon. That's why the demons are terrorizing everybody. It's the act of God. Because can't nobody kill a demon. A demon is too powerful to be killed. King Von is one of the only few demons we done seen die who professed out of his mouth. The Bible says, what's in your heart, it go come out of your mouth. He said, I'm a demon, man. I'm on demon time. So
the clip you just heard is the perspective of someone describing the deceased rapper King Von, an American rapper from Illinois, 1990 for 2020. Pretty famous individual. I will not delve into too much detail regarding him, but I will quote an article one was reading about him, to show Von to have been an eager and gleeful gang member, as well as a cold murderer, an abuser of women, and someone who tweeted out his crimes with an irreverence normally reserved for Phil Leotardo. We usually think of gang members as a product of their environments, an actualization of the vicious violence and discrimination that plagues black neighborhoods throughout America. While all that is true in Von's case, the documentary also alleges that Von played his role without a conscience, and in a particularly vicious way. That was from the article King Von was a shooter. The line between life and art isn't always clear, especially in hip-hop. What responsibility does that impose on fans? By Jason Buford. You may have heard in my previous video, Selfish Plug, where I emphasized that the way we deal with people like Mr. Beast won't solve the societal issues that created him. But that was an assumption on my part, that society played a significant role in his creation. You have heard it before.
Good morrow, good folk. Gather round, for I must regale thee with a grievous tale of woe and betrayal, concerning none other than the infamous Ice Cream Man. Lo, I did approach yon chariot of frozen delights, my heart aflame with the desire for a sweet treat. Yet, as I drew nigh, I beheld the wretched knave, nay, the scoundrel, hastily retreating from his appointed station, as if I were a spectre most foul. Didst thou witness the villain's cowardice? His sudden flight, a betrayal of the trust we innocently place in such purveyors of joy. This dastardly act leaves my soul bereft and my taste buds unsatisfied. Forsooth, I declare, this man of ice hath proven himself a knave unworthy of our coin, and I implore thee, take heed of his treachery.
They're born bad.
You really believe that?
Bad. Yeah, I do believe that. I think that, the kid that's pulling the legs off of a spider today has got potential of becoming a killer in 20 years' time. And I really believe that.
Some people are just born evil. It sounds wrong to some of you. To others, you may feel like a person you personally know fits that description. But is there honestly real-world cases for this? Some biological aspect that disproportionately affects how some people will act and interact with others. Psychopathy and sociopathy are terms often used interchangeably to describe antisocial personality disorders, though they have distinct characteristics and implications. Both fall under the broader category of antisocial personality disorder, at SPD, as defined by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5. Psychopathic tendencies. Definition and characteristics. Psychopathy is characterized by a lack of empathy, superficial charm, manipulativeness, and a propensity for deceit. Psychopaths often exhibit emotional detachment. They struggle to form genuine emotional connections and show little remorse for their actions. Charm and charisma. They can be exceedingly charming, often using this to manipulate others for personal gain. Calculated behavior. Their actions are often premeditated and methodical, reflecting a cold, rational approach to achieving their goals. Impulsivity and risk-taking. While impulsivity can be a feature, psychopaths may also display careful planning when it suits their ends. History. The term psychopathy has its roots in the Greek words psyche, soul, and pathos, suffering. It was first introduced in the late 19th century by German psychiatrist Emil Kraepelin. The concept gained traction in the early 20th century with the work of American psychiatrist Hervé Cleckley, whose book, The Mask of Sanity, 1941, outlined the traits associated with psychopathy. Cleckley's work highlighted the distinction between outward charm and inner emotional dysfunction. Sociopathic tendencies. Definition and characteristics. Sociopathy is often viewed as a more reactive form of antisocial behavior. Characterized by emotional outbursts, sociopaths may have difficulty controlling their emotions, leading to volatile behavior and impulsivity. Interpersonal relationships. They can form attachments, albeit shallow ones, and may display more empathy than psychopaths, but still struggle with maintaining stable relationships. Disregard for social norms. Sociopaths often disregard societal rules and may act on impulse, leading to criminal behavior without the calculated planning seen in psychopathy. History. The term sociopathy emerged later, reflecting a focus on social factors influencing behavior. While it shares roots with psychopathy, sociopathy gained recognition in the mid-20th century, particularly in the context of behavioral science and criminology. It emphasizes environmental factors, such as upbringing and social environment, as contributing to the development of antisocial traits. Distinctions between psychopathy and sociopathy. 1. Emotional response. Psychopaths generally lack genuine emotional responses, displaying a cool detachment. Sociopaths, more prone to emotional responses, but these are often intense and erratic. 2. Behavioral patterns. Psychopaths, often methodical and strategic in their actions, capable of long-term planning. Sociopaths tend to act more impulsively and may struggle with long-term planning. 3. Social relationships. Psychopaths tend to avoid deep emotional connections. Their relationships are often manipulative. Sociopaths can form attachments, albeit often dysfunctional, and may exhibit more erratic behavior in relationships. Both conditions are challenging to treat, as individuals often do not seek help voluntarily. Therapeutic approaches may include cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, aimed at addressing specific behaviors and improving social skills. However, the prognosis is often poor due to the ingrained nature of these traits.
Stop right now. Can't you see, they fell asleep? You have to administer a meme to wake them up.
Now it is time for me to cook. Why did I bother you with the rhetoric on psychological disorders? This is because of the bias people have for the people similar to them, and against them. You are more likely to acknowledge the faults of your enemy than your idol. And when very real people, few but loud in a people group, express this type of behavior, given limited information you will associate those common actions with said people group. It doesn't have to be race or country. Though when I found out about slavery, all white people were myops until I realized all races did slavery to some degree. And that is the issue. There is no issue that is strictly with regards to race intrinsically, or culture or country. Bad people are everywhere. I knew this girl, a quiet soul with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She had a brother whose mood swings were like a pendulum, swinging from joy to rage in the blink of an eye. I remember her telling me how he'd sometimes hit her, but she never called it abuse. He doesn't mean it, she'd say, brushing it off like it was nothing more than a rough play between siblings. Her family often excused his actions, saying it was his bipolar disorder, that he couldn't help it. He loves her, really, they'd insist, as if love could justify the bruises she hid under long sleeves. I could see the conflict in her eyes. She adored him, yet the pain he caused ran deep. She never spoke about it in detail, always quick to change the subject when the conversation drifted too close to home. At school, she was a master at wearing a mask, laughing and joking with friends while the weight of her reality pressed down on her heart. I could tell there was something she wasn't sharing, a heaviness that lingered just beneath the surface. "It's just how he is," she'd say, as if that explained everything. I watched her navigate the chaos of their home, tiptoeing around his moods, her laughter becoming more fragile with each passing day. And when he'd apologize, the remorse flooding his eyes, she'd forgive him without question. It broke my heart to see how deeply she wanted to believe in the goodness still residing within him, even when it was buried beneath the anger. Every time she brushed off the hits and the harsh words, I felt a pang of frustration. I wanted to shake her, to make her see that this wasn't normal, that no one should have to endure that kind of love. But instead, she kept it all inside, a secret that threatened to consume her. She carried that burden alone, hoping for a day when things would change, yet unsure if she'd ever find the words to speak her truth. I wanted to reach out to tell her she deserved better, but the silence was a wall between us. I could only watch as she continued to smile, the girl who fought a silent battle, while the world turned a blind eye. All in all, it appears the way prejudice traditionally worked is wrong. Well, it is obviously to most people, but I need to hold off on saying statements with high burdens of proof. Editing is very difficult. I mentioned earlier that I also had a prejudice. Can you guess from the video what it is? I will reveal whichever comment gets it right, but I promise I hinted at it heavily in this video. Please take care.